Back here with John Ramdine and Robin Black coming out of UFC 207. Cody Garbrandt is the new Bantamweight champion of the world, defeating Dominick Cruz. A tremendous performance from Garbrandt over the course of 25 minutes where I think there's people out there that may have picked Cody Garbrandt, and I think thinking a lot more with their heart than their head.
Or that he knocked you out.
I can't imagine. You're right. He could have caught him. But I don't think anyone could have forecasted that kind of performance over 25 minutes from Cody Garbrandt, because that was an incredible performance.
Yeah, what I loved about it is the fact that he rose to the occasion. Dominick Cruz, everybody recognizes how good Dominick Cruz is. Cody Garbrandt's teammates, they all had a number of cracks at Dominick Cruz. They couldn't defeat this guy. All of us media were saying that it's way too soon for Cody Garbrandt. How is he going to deal with the fire when he gets in there? Yes, he's been scheduled for 25 minutes in the Thomas Almeida fight, but he never went 25 minutes. How will he respond in there under the bright lights of the UFC, especially when, of course, the UFC was hoping that Ronda Rousey would talk. Because she didn't talk, there was a lot of spotlight on this fight. And for him to take control of the situation, almost get into the head of Dominick Cruz and play this beautiful game of angles, forcing Dominick Cruz to miss, tagging him, getting him frustrated. Just
traits we never see out of Dominick Cruz.
Sensational stuff.
Going into it, we're looking at it going, Dominick Cruz is going to win round 3, 4, and 5. And the first 2 rounds could be pretty close, but this kid is not on that level, and there's no way he can do it. Now, at the end of it, I'm like, don't you wish we could be wrong on this one? You know why being wrong is great? Because you're provided with all of this new evidence. Stuff you had no idea about. Truths that you thought were true are now untrue, and a new reality has been presented for you. That is tremendously exciting. And for Dominick Cruz, he needed something to be able to get to that next level. That some new reality where he looks and he goes, I am not Dominick Cruz anymore. Or actually, worse yet, I still am Dominick Cruz, and there's something beyond me. We're going to have this exact response, this holy crap response, when somebody beats John Jones, when somebody beats Demetrius Johnson. We're going to have this. And
Conor.
it's going, and well, we've seen it with Conor. We already had this reaction with Conor. It's going to happen because and why do we feel this way? Not just Dom's amazing. There was no evidence. No evidence of any kind that this could happen. Enrique Briones was his 3-round fight. He lost round 2, and really it was the same thing, willing himself forward. You saw the skill that he had. You thought to yourself, man, one day Cody Garbrandt's going to be brilliant, but he was hiding some of it in his back pocket, and some of it over the last 18 months after that Briones fight. You have to dig deep. That man's about number 100 in the top 100 bantamweights, Briones, if he's still in the UFC. Good young fighter, better than 99.9% of the planet, but nowhere near what we're looking at. And this kid either had some of it hiding in his back pocket, or what seems highly unlikely, but maybe it's even true, is he was able to accelerate his growth that quickly, and all of a sudden we're sitting here going, holy crap. Cody Garbrandt just took a TJ Dillashaw and Dominick Cruz world and added a third player at the top.
And as well in this fight, I mean, it was very interesting I'd love to talk to that coaching team of how they prepared for Dominick Cruz this time around, because you saw Cody Garbrandt, it was clearly a tactic to try and just mock Cruz,
draw him back,
get him emotional, and as we saw Cruz outline afterwards, he was the one, he had heavier output, but that opened him up to all of these strikes from Cody Garbrandt. I mean, this seemed like a game plan that they had really honed in on with Dominick Cruz, for a game plan that it has been hard for any bantamweight to penetrate.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why is you have a guy that has spent his life developing boxing, and if you can make that transition where you can bridge some of the fundamentals of boxing and make it work for mixed martial arts, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of athletes make that move, and they're going to see the success, because every academy I've ever been in, they talk about foot movement and the importance of mobility and movement and angles and this. So Cody Garbrandt has that, and he has youth on his side, and on top of that, he has good coaches, guys that have been in there with Dominick Cruz that get to tell him, hey, this didn't work when I did it, this worked, and then he gets to stockpile all this information. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you know what? We sort of, I think, have started as a fight culture of fans. We've started to misunderstand the concept of a game plan. Who's the best basketball player? LeBron James? Is that? I shouldn't be looking at you guys. You guys don't know. Let's say it's LeBron James. No? Steph Curry. I don't know who she is, but Steph Curry. What's the game plan to go one-on-one with Steph Curry? Everybody knows the game plan. Everyone, every single one of them. But you can't do it. You have to be good enough, great enough, special enough to do it. This is the game plan that's been out there on how to beat Steph Curry. Yeah. I don't know who she is. This has been the game plan out there to beat Dominick Cruz forever. You know what you have to do. You know how you have to stop him. You just can't do it. Everybody knows what you're supposed to do to beat John Jones. You just can't do it. Everybody knows how you play one-on-one against this woman, and they just can't do it. It is game plan itself is mandatory. It's got to be done. It's got to be executed. But you must have the skills and attributes and fluidity and ability to go and express the game plan. And that's what this kid did, and that's why he's special. And often we will go, oh, you know, Dom lost a step, or Dominic. No, that was Dominick Cruz this kid beat.
But not everybody has that same philosophy when it comes to strategy and game planning, because we've heard it many times where athletes will say, you know what, I'm not concerned with what Dominick Cruz brings to the table. I don't care about his movement. I have my assignment. I'm going to work on my strengths. I'm going to play my game, and he's going to have to make the adaptation or the amendments to try to deal with what I bring to the table.
There were elements of that in Garbrandt's ability to not bite on the fakes and feints, and nobody's done that either. Everybody knew, God, I just can't get into this thing where I'm wondering what he's doing and starting to buy and try to figure it out. Once you start trying to figure out, you start going algorithm versus algorithm against Dominick Cruz, then you're screwed. And everybody knew that. I just won't, the last couple of fights, Uriah, in his third time in there, I know, I just got to not bite on the fakes and the feints. I got to let him go. And you can't, but this kid could. And you talk about the mental game going in. He was being worked by Dominick Cruz going into it. But you know what? You're not fighting that day. He took that, I said he had brought a pointed stick to a psychological gunfight. He took that pointed stick, loaded into a crossbow, and shot him in the chin with it. It doesn't matter who wins or loses the days coming up to it, the psychic battle. It matters what you do on the night. And that kid took over. He did everything right. And that was a wonderful thing. And it's going to be a thrill to watch Cody Garbrandt get better and better over the years.
What I think is awesome about it is it's really opened up 135 pounds now. You have a bunch of fresh matchups. You have rematches. You have storylines. You throw TJ Dillashaw into the mix based on his performance. I think 135 pounds, you look at those three guys right now, you have the storyline basically over the next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting bantamweights as well on the way up. It's a very exciting division as we kick off 2017 with a new champion in Cody Garbrandt.